Guten Morgen. Good morning. Game dev time? I don't know what I'm doing today. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me get it set up here. Let me get you set up. Okay. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, what should I do today? I want to have a bit more direction today than I have for the past couple streams where I just kind of been flying by the seat of my pants. Yeah, I have a whole colony task system to figure out, I think. And maybe it's time to just do some design work on how colony priorities should happen. Up until now, I've just been kind of thinking of it, of replicating RimWorld, RimWorld's priority system. And I'm wondering if that's going to be the best system or not for an RPG colony sim. Because it might be kind of difficult to see and like correct priorities. In RimWorld, you have individual priority tracks for each pawn, and you can set like kind of like the order of what things they do. And usually, like, you're looking at it from a top-down perspective, so you can see the whole colony. You can see what's not getting done, and you can rectify that, right? You can see like, oh, hey, we need more steel or something, so let's get a miner on higher priority or something, you know. So I guess I'm a little bit worried that on the RPG side of things, you're not going to be able to see that kind of stuff. And I think more so what you're going to want as a player is like, I just need certain things to get done. And so I'm actually kind of thinking about some sort of like a queue also, maybe on top of the priority system. Like a queue, both like a command queue almost, or I don't know, something that you can just like push some like, hey, I need some shirts crafted. Asgore, welcome in. Good morning. Talking Colony Sim right now. Trying to figure out what kind of system I want to do for like Colony Sim priorities as it pertains to an RPG Colony Sim. I'm thinking maybe having some sort of queue where I can just put kind of like one-off things into, and they can be like kind of high priority, you know, while still having the individual pawns having priorities that they can fall back to. Ali, hello, welcome in. Good morning, everyone. Morning for me. Yeah, so I don't know, like, and is that something I work on right now? I don't think so. It's just something that's good to keep in mind when I'm designing some of the commands, these tasks and stuff. Attorney Cog, hello. Why are you taking screenshots? Get out of here. Because I know there was a game called Dawn of Man that did this kind of. It was like their only system, but it was quite different. But they had like this queue that you could put little jobs. I think it was jobs is what they called it. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just talking about game design a little bit. I'm working on an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite. I'm trying to think of like how I want colonist like task priorities to be represented in game and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think of like what the best move there would be. how I want to represent that. And up until now, I've just been thinking that I want to replicate what RimWorld does. But I'm thinking that, you know, for an RPG where you're in a third-person view and not at a top-down perspective, that might be a little difficult to work with. I do think individual colonists need some set of priorities. Hey, do this first, do this second, do this third. But if the colony overall had like a queue of jobs that needed to get done, those could be like the highest priority things, you know? So it's like, you could put things in there like, you know, mine 200 stone and then craft a bunch of, you know, craft a certain amount of, shirts and pants or something, you know, gather a certain amount of wood or gather until you have X wood, you know, and then the colonists who have that as their priority, like who are assigned to doing those things, and maybe each one of these jobs can have like how many colonists you want on it max. Maybe it could just be max 1 or something. It's so freaking hard to make a game. It is hard. There's a lot to it, it turns out. I was actually joking. Yeah, someone said like they didn't so-and-so didn't want people to steal their idea or something, and I'm like, that's the easiest part of game dev. Game is the idea. The making the game is the fucking hard part. Can we use a built-in boards post the job on that? That'd be funny. A little Indeed job board or something. I'll just hook up to their API and start posting, you know, need a strong lumberjack for chopping wood for colony. I guess I'm just kind of picturing something like, let's get the old limit. Why is that monitor my main monitor today? It's never my main monitor. I'm picturing some UI, okay, that's not even the right color. Okay, so I'm picturing some UI like this, and then maybe, you know, up here we have like little individual boxes for like, here's like tree chopping, right? Here's mining stone. Here's mining stone, you know, and then, you know, they got icons and they're color coded, you know, something like, you know, here's a tree. Tree chopping. This is gonna be a pickaxe. Bear with me. Okay, this is mining. You know, and you have like little, you know, those here, and then you can like click and drag these down here, and then they create little jobs, right? And then once you click them and drag them, you'll have options for like you can enter in what do I want to draw here? Like, how much? Who? Like, you know, what colonists should do this, and you can set things like what skill level they would need. Like maybe, because this could maybe be like craft. You could maybe have one that's like craft, like, you know, do some tailoring, right? It's gonna be a shirt. And I am not an artist. There's a shirt, right? So, and then like the skill level of the crafter may determine the quality of it a little bit. So you can have like a skill level min. You could have, you know, a max number of colonists. Yeah, how much could be like just like an X number. Do it X times, rather. Yeah, maybe that's more clear. X times. Or something like RimWorld just does until. You could have it forever, right? You could do forever as well. I mean, like where Geralt gets jobs, it's a slab of wood. Oh, I see. You mean like an in-game, not like a piece of UI. I thought you were talking about like a UI, like copy an Indeed UI. You mean like an actual like contract board in the village. Maybe that's what you have to build before you get access to this. You know, that would be nice. I like that idea, turning cog. I wasn't even thinking about that. The slab of wood with notes, but yeah, but back. Wait, what do you say? Backboards? Backwards? Where you get the task to the settlers. Yeah, there we go. I'll put turning cog. I'll put an Easter egg on one of these boards or something. Don't steal my idea. I'm gonna like etch your name in the back of it or something. Hello there, welcome in. But yeah, that would be very vibesy, and I'm all about maximum flavor. You know what I mean? If it's a little more awkward, but it's good flavor, I think it's worth it. You know. Lurini locations and references to real world, like Machu Picchu, Root Bridge, or waterfalls. There'd definitely be landmarks. Like, I would love to get some waterfalls going in the game. I'm not gonna like use any specifically named locations like Machu Picchu, although maybe there could be some inspiration from that. But yeah, something like this, and then all the boxes in here would be like left to right, ordered, and then maybe it wraps, you know, it wraps around. So you go from here to there. And then you wrap around. And so, you know, and then like once the colonist does this thing and completes it, it goes away. Unreal Kafasi, hey, have a good stream. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Can you add like combat commands like guard attack, follow, guard someone? Yeah, I don't know what kind of that stuff. Like, there is going to be like colony raids and stuff, so you will be able to assign someone to like some sort of like guard post or something for sure. But I don't know if I want you to be able to be like, hey, colonist, follow me wherever the hell I go and fight with me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, because to me that just makes the world harder to balance. And I don't want to just do the, you know, slap a coat of paint on it solution, which is just like scale everything when you have 2 people. You know, I don't like that. That's like the easy out there. It's like, hey, the players want to have their cake and eat it too, and we don't want to do extra design work, so just make it scale, you know? And it's like, okay, but then there's like no point to having the colonists with you. I guess just like leveling them up could be nice, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I definitely want like a scouting job. Like, you know, here's the world, and like you might have a colony here, right? And you will get like warnings of like incoming raids, even like especially because like the character's going to be away. So like maybe you can have a job that someone can fulfill, a role that someone can fulfill, where they can be like a sort of military leader of some sort. And then once you have that colonist, I think you can go to them and be like, hey, you know, they'll let you know when raids are incoming, and you can be like, hey, go scout the raid. And so you can either send him to go scout the raid, or like some other colonist assigned to the scouting task. And then they're like, their stealth, you know, their stealth stat will determine how successfully they can scout the raid. And like their intelligence, you know. If they're smart enough, then they'll come back with like good information for you. There will be that kind of stealth combat and stuff. Then once you move away from the board, the UI disappears from the screen, so it keeps the player's normal UI cleaner. Yeah, I do like that. Now, the player having to run to a certain spot in their colony to see the UI and adjust it and see what got done, what hasn't gotten done. I have a feeling players are going to be annoyed at that. My game, I made the AI hierarchical. Each faction has a state tree, hidden actor. Well, I don't use actors in my game. These are all instance VAT animated instance static meshes. Well, that guy's an actor because he's close to me. Now he's a static mesh. But yeah, I do want some faction. I will be doing like AI ran colonies as well, so I'll probably need to come up with a solution similar to you, Damien. Similar to you. Not quite there yet. Yeah, maybe there can be some scout enemy base type stuff as well. But I'm thinking something like this is going to be more intuitive for players to get things done. Because in RimWorld, let's look at RimWorld's work priority UI. RimWorld is like one of my big inspirations for the Colony Sim side of things. So here's what I've been picturing in my head so far. A little blurry, but it goes from left to right. So higher priority is on the left. And then, you go from left to right, they do all the ones first, left to right. And then they do all the twos, and then the threes, and then the fours. And so this is good for like, I think this works well because one, you have the individual colonist priority tracks, which is nice. But two, I think it works well because you have that top-down omniscient perspective of the colony where you as the player, you can see what things are getting done, what things aren't getting done. And you could be like, oh, no one's mining. I need to like increase someone's mining priority. You know what I mean? So I think when you're in a third person view, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to see what things are or aren't getting done, or like watch a certain colonist. And because like in RimWorld, you can watch a colonist be like, hey, what are you stuck on? And like mining is like a pretty long form task. And so you're like, why isn't my tailoring, like in this example, why isn't my tailoring good? No one's doing tailoring maybe or something, although this guy would be. But you'd be like, oh, because my one guy assigned to tailoring is spending all of his time mining, and I think that's going to be kind of hard to discern from like a third person perspective. I do still think I need like individual colonist priorities. But I think something like this is going to be more representative of what the player wants to do. Because the player is most likely going to be like, hey, I need some trees chopped. I need some construction done, I don't know why construction is blue to me. I don't know. Is that a blue? If construction were a task, what color would it be for you guys? I like blue for some reason. Yellow? Maybe yellow. I would accept yellow as well. There's my construction hammer there. Or hunting as well. What color is hunting? Is like a red, right? Hunting is red for sure. Red or orange. So that could be, a little bow, an arrow. Yellow? You think construction's yellow? Yeah, I'll accept yellow. I'll accept yellow there. I already drew it in blue though, so we're gonna stick with that. Because yeah, I mean, it's gonna be difficult to like put someone on the hunting priority when there's like nothing that needs to be hunted and shit, and you gotta like build. Yellow equals work, red equals combat, green equals support. Well, we're trying to come up with colors for different types of work, right? So like for me, it's like chopping trees is either brown or green. There's probably like plants. Maybe that's a lighter green. Plants is like a lighter green, I think, maybe. It would have to be a medium denim blue. That's actually what I was picturing. I clicked the wrong blue. Because I'd already used like the steel blue here for mining. This one would be like, some form of plant. What plant would I draw here? that's maybe it should be like corn or something, That's that doesn't look like corn. And so like this down here is your queue, your job queue, and when things get done, they kind of pop out of here. And then maybe when the player comes back to this, I can have a section for like I can have a section for like what got done since the last time the player was here, just so they can like understand, because like the player's gonna be leaving the colony, going out and exploring the world, coming back. So yeah. But I also think I need the ability to just give individual colonists commands. But I think that maybe would end up putting something like here, right? It would just be like the who of it would be assigned to a certain colonist, right? Like a golden mustard may be good for hunting, so the icon doesn't get lost in the fucking trees on the map. Oh, you think they're gonna show up on... You're thinking they're showing up on the map too, huh? Or you mean like in the world? Because I'm just talking UI right now. Just talking UI colors right now. So yeah, I just wanted to put a little bit of thought into this to inform some of the work that I do today. What are we working on today? You wanted it complicated and you have those volumes. What do you mean, turning cog? You mean these things? My areas? My snoxels? Yeah, I think the area, maybe the where gets answered here as well. Where? How much? Who? I assume they would float an icon over the snoxels. Yeah, I guess I maybe something like that would be good. Maybe the snoxels are just colored the same as the icon to do them. What you doing? We're doing some game dev this morning. Doing some game dev, just talking like colony sim tasks and how to represent those in the game, like more so just like priorities of the colonists and stuff. But I'm working on an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite with procedural destructible terrain. Here is the generated world map here. I think we're in the Serpent Spine Mountains. My cursor's slightly off here. But we've got all these like procedurally generated zones with like they will have different biomes and stuff like that. Right now I only have like 2. But here's the procedural terrain. It's just a small chunk of the overall world that's generated so far. And we've got some like underground 3D noise, caves and stuff. That'll be pretty cool to explore. Right now there's nothing interesting in them yet. But they are there. All they do is look okay. That's I was gonna say look cool, but they don't even do that much. That would make a mini-map more visible if the Snoxel to play the icon. Yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about that at all. I'm sure I'll do something like that. And that does make sense. You know, just kind of hovering somewhere there. Maybe just on when you look at it or something, you know? Because I don't think these aren't going to show at all times, right? Like if you wanted to say, hey, go plant crops in this area, it's not going to show at all times, you know? I also need to make it to where you can like add to those, the different shapes and stuff like that. But yeah, you'll run around. These are like little colonists here that you can recruit. It's just kind of like super bare bones at the moment. And then we have some enemies that you can fight. It's not, again, nothing super crazy. Everything is pretty placeholder at the moment. Why am I enjoying this? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Oh god, that's a caster. Okay, he's gonna fuck my shit up. He's gonna fuck my shit up. He's gonna fuck my shit up. I'm gonna die. I'm dead. Yeah, the casters are actually kind of hard to kill. Kid Whisper just murked my ass. What video did you go over your cave builds? Just kind of random ones. I don't have like a specific video talking about it. Are you using voxels? Yes and no. I have 3 different compute shaders that I run. One is for the height map generation, and that does a lot of things for like the parameterized noise in different biomes, and it applies border mountains on each zone. So like each different color has border mountains around it. And it does some blending and stuff. What else does it do? That's basically it. But I also have the 3D noise compute shader, which is just like a 3D Perlin noise, basically simplex, but basically it's a gradient noise, but it's, you know, basically Perlin. And then I have a custom marching cubes shader that connects it all together. And so yeah, marching cubes is a voxel algorithm, but how it works, like how it stitches these things together, it doesn't always line up with a voxel resolution. Like you can see them, you know, you can kind of see the voxels, but then I don't know if this has any good examples, but there are definitely some that don't. Yeah, like maybe right over here, I think there's like a little extra triangle. It doesn't always line up to a voxel resolution, so it is not like inherently voxel clamped. And when you deform the terrain, it doesn't line up to a voxel either. It's more so like a per vertex type solution. I just kind of handle it per vertex. And you can see that like the place where it connects together, I need to do a little bit more work on. Because yeah, it's a little jagged, I'll say. A little jagged. Yeah, like this one right here, I don't think. Yeah, some of these just don't make sense for voxels, you know, some of these verts. You had job things. Medics would heal, guards would guard, spies will spy. Like roles, you mean? Yeah. I do intend to have some form of that, yeah. Curious if you manage entities outside of view range. What happens if there's no terrain under them? Do you make them persistent so you can find them during a patrol? Yeah, so like my whole thing is like I wrote my own ECS system so that I could simulate the whole world. And so even when the terrain is not there, I'm so glad you asked. Even when the terrain's not there, I actually store the index and the triangle, the index and triangle buffers, which is this data. I save that. I store it in a bounding volume hierarchy, which is like a spatial data structure that allows you to like efficiently query through it. And I can take those data structures and I can export them to a nav mesh. And so what we're looking at is the nav mesh. Like this shaded area is the nav mesh. So the mesh isn't just invisible, it literally doesn't exist here. I just have the data for what the mesh will be. And so that's how the nav mesh knows what to look like, and that's how I spawn things here too. And I wrote my own like line trace and collision system with the terrain so that I could move these entities and colonists around entirely on background threads, off the game thread. And I can still have the nav mesh there to move them around on, and I can still have collision traces. And the collision traces are what I use to determine like how things spawn, where things spawn. Like this will be a cave. Not generated yet, but it will be. I have the data for it. I just haven't built the mesh, which saves on memory. So Damien, I hope that answers your question. If it's not clear, I can go over it in more detail. But yeah, I'm just generating a small square of the world, but eventually I want to have like as much of the world generated as possible. So memory is like my biggest bottleneck right now. Are you planning to use replication graph? I'm not sure what I'm going to do for multiplayer yet. But solid, it's not working with world partitioning. Yeah, that sucks for you. I don't use any of the built-in Unreal Engine systems though, so I don't use world partition or landscape or level streaming or any of that. This is all my own home-rolled kind of things. Goofy looking blending, but damn, that's impressive. Yeah, the blending is like, because I do have like the different textures. I need to blend those. I haven't blended those yet. But the blending would happen like, there's no zone entrance chunks here, so it's a little more difficult to show because like here's the border mountain. Or actually at the intersection of 3 zones, like here's the mountain and then here's the other mountain. And so you can see in this zone and this one, it's the large hills noise, but in this zone, it's like the smaller hills noise, but they still line up, right? And it's not just because I put mountains there. Like it actually does a per vertex weighted average distance-based blend for all the neighbor chunks. And this is kind of a bad, I wonder, is there a, well, I'm kind of dead, so maybe we can check out a new seed. 353, 354. What games have I made? None. I've made 0 games. This one so far. This one's kind of a boring seed. there's no nice terrain here. It's nice so you don't have collision. I do have collision. I wrote my own collision system. That's what the bounding volume hierarchy it does. It allows you to, that is effectively what is underneath any collision system, is some sort of spatial data structure. And so I have my own version of that. So yeah, all of this uses that collision. Everything that's spawned, everything the light touches, uses that collision system. And I have my own velocity and gravity processor that moves the entities around, because they don't have physics. They don't have gravity. They don't have collision. So I settle them on the ground with raycasts in the background thread, using those, using my own raycasting system. And I have to rebuild because the nav mesh, the pathfinding is annoying. But yeah, I do eventually want to do some multiplayer stuff. The way you've developed your map layout and caves and other layers is top tier. Can you please do some long-term tutorials on how to convert already built maps to your way of doing things? I don't think that there is a conversion that would work for that. You basically just... This is all procedural, so if you have an already built map, you're not going to be able to very easily write that in a procedural algorithm. It's a completely different way of doing things. Oh, another ocean biome. Kind of sucks. You strictly use C++ when coding? That is what UE uses, so yeah. It's either blueprints or C++. Okay, so here's a new seed. Maybe we'll get some zone entrance chunks where I can show. Yeah, we have one right here. We're looking at one. So in this, here's the border right here, and there's an entrance chunk right here. And so there's the blending that happens between the noise. Like this is very flat noise, and then this is like kind of craggier, spikier noise. Each terrain chunk, for every single vertex in the terrain chunk, it checks its distance to itself as if it were in the next chunk, as if it were rendered with the next chunk's parameterized noise. And it does that for every single surrounding chunk, and it does a weighted average blend based on that distance and that value. And so that's how I blend the different noise parameters together per vertex, which is kind of heavy-handed. And yeah, not the most efficient, but it does allow me to have a lot of control over the different noises in each biome. Name of game, my project. I took your advice on making a bigger game. Okay, my advice is don't. My advice was not make a bigger game. I think my advice was something more along the lines of work on something you're passionate about or motivated to do, if that's your goal. The yellow, so it's still drawing stuff on the screen as if my player were here. So the yellow bar belongs to that guy. Like if I pop out here, if I detach the camera, it still stays on screen. So that's just it's kind of a side effect of that, how that works. What is happening? That was fun. What zone are we in? We got the Druid Circle of Nature, Shadewatch Basin, the Assassin's Hideout of Silence, Silent Hollow, sorry, okay. The Whispering Cave of Echoes, Ironvale Hollow, Rimefell Tundra, Mirkwood Forest, Undying Sands, the Fountain of Youth, holy shit, Ghostly Glade. So each of these I want to have like different stories that happen in them, and I'll feed them into the AI and try to generate some cool stuff for the player to do. Actually give them, reasons to explore and stuff like that. So yeah, this isn't like the most exciting scene, but it is a good example of the... Oh, here's another entrance chunk right there. Looks like there's a Meadows biome over there. Where am I right now? I run that way, okay. Thank you. Do I take viewer suggestions? Suggestions for what? I mean, you can suggest whatever you want to. Doesn't mean I'm going to take it, though. You mean suggestions for the game? Maybe. There's a lot of things I've already thought about, though. Turning Cog gave a suggestion earlier that I liked. You know, it's not like I can just take an idea and just do it real quick, though. You know, it takes a lot of fucking time. Okay, here's the next zone I am about to see. So what I think is really cool about there's the zone entrance chunk. What I think is really cool about these is like you'll be in one zone and you won't be able to see the other zones. And then you'll find kind of like a threshold to cross. And when you cross that, it's kind of this like, it kind of opens up and it's like, whoa, there's a completely new zone over here. And this one's very samey. It's just my meadows biome. But I can already see like some different, I can see sunflowers, I can see some hemp there, some large trees, and there's even some mountains over there that are really cool, you know. When do I get to name an NPC? We could maybe do something like that. I know RimWorld had like a, it was like if you bought it in early access or something, you could like, there was something they did where you could like specify an in-game name that would show up randomly sometimes. So maybe we'll do something like that. How lightweight is the world data effect on memory? Not very. Might become a problem if you have to sync this over the network later. Well, the beautiful part of it is that it's an algorithm that can run anywhere. So, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, per terrain chunk, it's not too bad. It's when you, so, if I was just doing a, like each one of these pixels is a terrain chunk. And only a certain number are needed around a player, so... You know, in the future, in some theoretical future, if there's a server, you would want the server to generate it, because different CPU architectures can produce slightly different noise and stuff like that, so... You would want the server to do it. And you would want to send that data to the clients. Now, it would be in the form of, like... I did spec out some numbers for it, but per chunk it's not too much, right? Per chunk, but it's the large scale, like the entire world. That's a lot of fucking data. That's a lot of fucking memory, right? Is this an MMO? No. RPG Colony Sim Roguelite is what I'm going for. And then what's that zone over there? The Fountain of Youth. I've just started my game development passion. Looking forward to learning. Well, congrats on starting. That's the hardest part. How long have I been using UE5? About 2.5 years. What's your background? Where did you learn how to code? I taught myself, basically. I'm a college dropout. I've been coding since I was about 16. So I'm a software engineer by trade. I just do game development in my free time. Nice progress, dude. I haven't touched this part. I have not touched this part, so this is all the same. But it's a different biome probably than you're used to seeing. So thank you. That's crazy. I guess today it's crazier to think about than it is back in my day, you know, 10 plus years ago when I convinced someone to give me a job. Today it seems kind of crazy. I want to play this so bad. There's nothing to play yet, really. Like, there's no point in anything. There's no loop, as they say, right? You can kill things, but leveling up doesn't really do anything other than it barely increase your stats. You know, you can build things, but that doesn't do anything other than spend your resources. You can recruit colonists, but there's only a couple things they can do at the moment. And there's no progression in the game. Do you have a channel for advanced JavaScript or real work projects as a software engineer with JavaScript? That is so specific, dude. No, I don't have a channel just for JavaScript. I would recommend searching for that on Google. I think you'll have a lot better success than, you know, asking game development streamers if they have JavaScript channels. So I think Google will point you in the right direction more so than I could. All your hemp are belong to me now. I want to be a red Michelin man when you release. Okay. The game I did had same chunk system. We started to sync chunk, but it was too much, so we sync the chunk settings /seed so that each client can reproduce it, but only sync the delta. Yeah, what was your noise? What did you use to generate the noise? Because I think what I'll end up using is fast noise, which has processor specific architecture. I don't think I'll be able to do that. Because it won't produce the same noise. First person Colony Sim? Third person. But yeah. RPG Colony Sim is what I'm going to call it. And I was just talking about like what I want to do for like colonist tasks and stuff. And I'm thinking that this is like a kind of job or queue board is a lot more useful to the player. Like the colonists individually should still have priorities and stuff. But because it's like when this is empty, they're not just going to do nothing, right? Then it'll be up to the player shouldn't just like keep this up to date, you know. I think it's going to be a little heavy-handed. We'll wait till you complete, then I'll ask the game no matter if it takes a year. It's going to take about 5 years. It's gonna, you need to not hold your breath because it's going to fucking take a while. You could use wave function collapse to generate structures. Yeah, there's a lot of things I'll end up doing and exploring for points of interest. I'll probably just end up using PCG, but for dungeon layouts, yeah, wave function collapse might be good whenever I get there. What I need to do is come up with a good way for the zones that have drastically different altitudes to actually be able to be walkable into. And I don't think a single chunk, honestly, for how stark the difference is, a single terrain chunk is not going to be enough. In some spots it may be. I am a solo dev, yes. I am a solo dev. Solo but not alone. Yeah, I have you all to keep me company and make me feel like what I'm doing is worth it. Which I do appreciate. Oh, that guy's, he's looking for food. They need to understand that, well, I guess I think I broke sunflowers. Sunflowers used to give food. Oh, there's a red zone popping up over here too. Yeah, looks kind of bad, doesn't it? Oh, that's going to be interesting, because I'm planning on using these splines for the biome borders. And I'm going to need to use those for the texture blending. I didn't think about that before. That's going to be... Ooh, how the fuck am I going to do that? Do you have a Discord drawingy, bro? No, I don't. No, I don't. You can call me drawingy, bro, if you'd like, though. That's fine. I'm gonna start my journey soon. Soon I need to get a certification to find a job. Well, good luck with that. You have dodge movement yet? I don't know. Like, I have a roll that just came with the ALS system, though. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have the Souls-like combat. I don't really like the Souls-like combat where it's poke, poke, dodge, 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 poke. You know, not really a huge fan of that. So the pathfinding is failing quite consistently, actually. Now that I have like 2,000 entities running in every world now. It's my drawing project, turning cog. Come on. So I don't know what form the dodge roll is going to take in my game. I think I would more so have WoW dodges where they're like just randomly the dice are rolled. Where's Dice Guy at? Let's see if we can do some work though. So I was working on like tasks and stuff, colony tasks. And I think I'll just use this. I don't think I'm going to do anything with this today. I'm just going to use it to inform me moving forward. I think I do need something like this eventually. I hate that I hate that I think I need to have multiple systems. One being like the individual colonist priorities and another one being this thing. I think that does make it a little bit more confusing for players, but I do think that the benefits that this provides outweighs that. So we'll see when we get there. But for now, let's try to figure out what the hell I'm doing today. Should we just continue working on the construction task? I mean, I built the whole area system, so maybe we should do something with that. They can technically construct things. Let's see that. He can technically construct things. Sure. Oh yeah, I recently, okay, I changed it. So I broke it, yeah. Yeah. Do you prefer state trees over behavior trees? Yes. Despite them being still actively worked on. I do. They're much more efficient. And just conceptually, even if they weren't more efficient and ticked every frame like a behavior tree does, I think I'd still prefer them. Conceptually, they make more sense to me. Like having this view where it has explicit transitions, like what to go from, what to go to, what task. Like it's just more explicit to me than a behavior tree. Like when I did have a behavior tree working where, like, you can check some of my super old videos. Like, I had colonists running around chopping trees, but they were in behavior trees, and it was not scaling very well at all. Like, and I only had, like, a few colonists. It was not good. And the behavior trees were getting so complicated. It was getting complicated quite quickly. Doesn't have to be roll. Yeah, I just mean, I know what you mean. I know you mean just like some form of getting out of the way, right? Some ability to get out of the way. Does Helldivers do they give you iframes? I haven't played it. Because like in Souls games, it's like when you're rolling, you have iframes, you know? Another GA AMA dev. Awesome. Wait, what does that mean? Welcome into Big Clips. Working on an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite. We're doing some colonist tasks today. Oh, another game dev. I see. I was like, an ask me a general availability, ask me anything dev. I'm not generally available. It makes me feel like kind of slutty, honestly. Anyways, let's figure out why our construction task is not valid. Let's get the visual logger. That's the widget reflector. I think you already. So I'll have to give him the task again. Come here. Oh, he actually did get here. Was the building null or something? The building is null. The interact payload. Okay, so yeah, we need to like redo his thing here. Hey, you come here. Go construct that. It is still null. Tis still null. Wait, this is the get colonist task. Why would it be on the interact payload? Why would that? That is not where it is. Instance data dot, that's the output. Get colonist task, hang on. What the hell was I doing with this? The colony data, that's right, that's right. Although, I do set it after that. Okay, so I just did the wrong fucking thing here. Yeah, maybe colony data is one that I can prepend in there. Send. That's probably one that they all need, but I think for now I'll just kind of... Oh, they need the entity system too. Yeah, I think I'll probably add that. Yeah, I already get it in the outer scope as well. So yeah, I mean, they're all gonna need that. That's kind of like a fucking given, right? Const u colony data. Colony entity data, yeah. Just add that to every one of these. And honestly, I think I should generify this a lot more actually. Let's make it work first. I think first step, always make it work. Ripro, welcome in. What's up? What is up, my dude? What's the best way to learn code and development for beginners? There is not a single answer for that question. It is going to vary pretty greatly between people. Some people would advise you to maybe go to college or something, or do some sort of course or tutorial. That's not my preferred method. But that is, if you're someone who needs structure and needs kind of someone to show you how to do it, then that can be perfect for you. I, for one, am more, I want to do it on my own. And, you know, that might maybe take me a little bit longer, but I usually just kind of come up with an idea or a project that I want to do, something that I'm motivated to put some learning effort towards completing. You know, for instance, this video game. You know, 2.5 years ago, I didn't know anything about C++. I didn't know anything about Unreal Engine. I didn't know anything about game development or procedural generation. So I learned all those at once. Would I recommend that? No. But the point being that you can like all of the information I know I got on the internet for free, right? I'm a college dropout. That didn't stop me from getting a job in software engineering. And it's all because like all the information exists online. You just need to know how to ask the right question. So if you have a project that you're motivated towards working on, then you just need to figure out what questions you need to ask Google, or today maybe even AI, you know. And that can be, you know, how to learn basic programming, like, you know, just type in programming basics into Google, you know, what programming language should I start with, you know, that kind of stuff. And then you can get a bunch of different perspectives on it. You can read, you know, just start reading. Start reading, and then make sure you got to starting at some point as well. When I scroll shorts, you pop up in my notification to motivate me. Hell yeah. What am I motivating you to do? Hopefully good things. The course I'm using is a C++ Humble Bundle. It's currently like 30 bucks. There you go. Some Humble Bundle courses. I never pay attention to those. If I look at a tutorial or something, I just go there to look for what, you know, the thing that I'm trying to do. I don't follow the whole tutorial or anything. I found that like when I follow tutorials, by the time I get done with the tutorial, I've already forgotten most of the stuff because I haven't actually used it for anything. I'm just typing what they're giving me, right? So that's why I like having the project there, because it's like you're learning individual skills and applying them immediately. And for me, that helps me solidify it in my brain a lot better. Anyways, yeah, we have our building here, so maybe this will actually work. Okay, yeah, it worked. He built it. It's crazy my velocity processor, my gravity processor, actually just handled that very gracefully. That was nice to see. Did the nav update? Yeah, it did. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make them jump or not. That's gonna be kind of difficult. And it seems like he's not. Let me check his state tree here, or his colony data. Did we remove the colony data? Where's it at? No, it's still marked as in progress. Do you still ask questions to AI? What do you mean still? It only just came out. Sometimes. I mean, I don't exclusively use it, nor have I ever. But yeah, sometimes I ask it questions. Let me think here. How do I want to make sure that I guess I should reset the colonist task too. If it's not a valid task, does that mean I should always reset it? Or like clear it out? Or is it something that could become valid and I want to like try again later kind of thing? But I guess now I'm treating it like once it's invalid, we should get rid of it. Let's make a complete function here. Yeah, and I don't know, like, I think maybe I'll maintain some sort of history for this. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, so but let's just complete with like some sort of status. Finished, and we'll put failed as well. Okay. To make your AI jump, install a plugin or built-in feature, the latest release of the engine, which auto-generates an nav mesh link. So my AI are quite a bit different than the normal ones. I have Vertex animated instant static meshes, so I have to bake all my animations and stuff into textures and send them off into a material to do world position offset deformations on the GPU. So yeah, my ALS movement has it built in, but that's just what I use for the character. I only use that for the player character. All my other entities are part of an ECS system that have their own navigation systems and stuff. So I have my own velocity processor and gravity processor that I would need to write in the velocity processing for. Like I would have to write all of that. Man's gonna make the shit complicated, basically. So yeah, appreciate the pointer, but unfortunately, I have to do it all on my own. And then I think maybe like, this is on a given task, so I'm just going to complete the given task. I mean, I don't know if I want to do anything else there. Maybe in the future, but I need to reset the current task. And maybe, should I maintain it? Let's maintain a history or something. I have current command and current task. I intended for those to be different things. I don't know if I'll then here's a list of commands to be given. Yeah, I kind of had like a queue built already. I think I'm gonna rebuild that. Have you implemented Wumbo mode yet? No, coming soon, TM, coming soon. All the bitches love Wumbo. Show me a bitch who doesn't love Wumbo, and I'll show you a bitch who ain't a bitch, you know what I'm saying? And I am that bitch. Yeah, and then the task completed. Task completed. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess these are like different scenarios here. I think maybe I can't have these as static, or I rather can't treat these as like const functions, maybe. And what I wanted, I think I want a distinction between like, because I have here, if the building is built, it'll return false because it's not a valid task anymore because you shouldn't build it, right? But I think I want a distinction between, did it get built by someone else and therefore this task got canceled, or did he just finish the task, right? Because I think I would want to track that. I think I would want to track that. Yeah, this may be like, this may turn into, yeah, I don't know, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no. I think I need to turn this into something quite different now. Rather than just checking if it's valid on tick. Age of Lo-Fi, yeah, dude, I love the AoE2 music. That's a cozy place for me, for sure. I'm thinking, yeah, I need to change this already. God damn it. God damn it. So I guess this is going to change. I was trying to make this generic, task generic, but I think there's just too many specific things that happen per task. I think rather I will change these to just be functions that can get called from each task. Okay. Okay. So it's more so like I need a switch case for processing the task here. And I shouldn't do that. This is more so like if task status equals task not started. Yeah, you can put links in the chat. So far, no one has abused that yet, so we're good. AoE 2 and AoE 1 ROR. I never played AoE 1. Does it hold up? AoE 2 holds up 100%. Hey man, how are you? I'm good. How are you, lazy boy? Welcome in. Yeah, so I think we do this maybe just first. And then I need the Giga switch case here on colony data. Colony data current task dot task type case. Yeah, let's see what it what it thinks I need here. Not even close. Not even close. Trees break. I think I'll probably return. Will I return from here? I think I do. I think I return here. Return. See, this is where I'm thinking that I need some generic task module. I think I need to wire up some generic task module. Seen a lot of YouTube live on shorts. Where do I get started with to know what you're building? Does that mean you're wanting to get into game development, or does that just mean you want me to explain it a little bit? I can definitely explain it a little bit. We are working on an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite with procedural destructible terrain. Here is the procedural terrain. That sucks. Excuse me, bless me. Yeah, why? That was not the seed I saved on, was it? Let's just go 360. So here's the procedural terrain. Be destructible. We'll have AI generated quests as well. But what I'm going for is something like vanilla WoW class design and combat, like the RPG elements of vanilla WoW, not the MMO part, plus the Colony Sim aspects of RimWorld, plus the roguelite aspects of something like Hades. And then do some procedural terrain, you know, a la, you know, you can think of it kind of like Minecraft, but I'm going to do mine a little bit differently. I think I'm going to do the procedural generation a little backwards, right? A little backwards. But that's just kind of a rough overview of what I'm working on. If you're wanting to explain it, yeah. This is, if you have further questions. Why is it so laggy? Oh, I have the vlogger on. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay, now we're nice and smooth. I have, like, dynamic tree chopping, which, in a lot of games, when you chop a tree, it'll just replace the mesh with, like, a chopped one. This one actually deforms the mesh at runtime. So these are all, like, static meshes, which means, like, they can't change, right? The mesh itself doesn't, the vertices of the mesh don't get modified. But I can copy them into dynamic meshes on the fly and then change their verts based on where the axe connects at, right? And so depending on where you chop it, you know, that's where it'll fall at. And then you get some wood for that right now. Eventually I'll have colonists like need to pick up this log and take it to like a lumber mill and stuff like that. And this will, you know, there's tree chopping. There's going to be like tree skills, mining skills, gathering skills. You know, there'll be of course some alchemy, some crafting, you know, tailoring, blacksmithing, that kind of stuff. And we've got a little building system in here as well. Why are my line traces not working? That was weird. What are the verts doing here? This is a relatively flat location. I'm not sure why there's so many issues. Very laggy, very laggy. Okay. Yeah, well, that's what I get for writing my own collision system. I have no one to blame but myself. Yeah, it is a little strange, isn't it? I think maybe it's something to do, because like I don't have that issue with other foundations. But the construction will be a lot slower than this. It's just for testing, but like, oh, I need the interaction option here. E should be apply the wood, and I don't have that. But you need someone to take the wood or whatever you need. You see the wood 0 out of 100 there. Like you need someone to actually take the wood there. So yeah. Well, there's some nice 3D noise over there. Anyone's gonna watch a code like this? Looks like you're making promising progress. Nicely. Well, thank you. Yeah, happy to be background noise. I'm very happy to be some lurker fodder. Looks amazing so far. Thank you. Starting out with Godot. Wish me luck. Yeah, good luck. It's a long journey. I hope you enjoy it. For your ECS, are you using the built-in system mass? No, I tried it out and I didn't like it very much. The one with fragment and trait. I don't know why they name things differently. Yeah, my own is my own implementation, and honestly, the ECS part of it is not that complicated. Like an ECS system at its base is quite easy to implement, but it's like all the individual processors. Those are like the... Can I really not jump up there? Okay. That's where the difficulty comes in. So building the ECS system itself actually wasn't too bad. And yeah, I found mass to be very difficult to work with. Like, yeah, some of the like they have the like traits are like a combination of fragments, but it's like so weird the way they build out their archetypes. I found it to be very unintuitive because it's like some, like you would add like a fragment that would, or like a trait that would like auto add fragments, and then like there would be like, there's like a dependent, like a dependency chain of like data, and like I don't know, mine is just flat. Like I just made that flat, so it's a lot less confusing. And then you can just define, like the processors can define whatever type they want to, you know. What game is this? Oh, it's my own game I'm working on. It doesn't really have a name right now. I still just call it my project, but it's an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite with procedural terrain. So here we're looking at a little bit of the procedural terrain here. I didn't check out the world map here. Here's the world map. I am in the Vale of Tears, which is supposed to be a swamp, but we don't have the swamp built yet. Oh, and we're staring at the Secret Temple, Frostbloom Refuge, Maelstrom Coast, Ebonwood Forest, the Norse Sea of Ice and Sorrow. Some of these are a little extra. So yeah, that's a little bit about the game. Feel free to ask other questions and stuff. Yeah, mass. I wasn't happy with mass. It felt very difficult to work with for anything that it wasn't already built to do. And like I was digging into the source code for it to try to figure out how it worked back in 5.2, and yeah, some of the things they do for like, it's just so generic to like work for anyone's systems that like a lot of the things they were doing are just so heavy-handed, and it makes it very difficult to work within. Like the whole, like when they were syncing the movement and velocity data like to the ISM and actors and stuff like that, or like the, because like you have the entity trait of like a location, right? And you also have one for velocity. And the way they were like having to reconcile the difference between, you know, is the velocity processor moving that or is the movement component moving that, was like super annoying. And, you know, I think me doing that myself was a lot easier. If you make them horses, you should make them cyborgs. Yeah, that'll go great in a medieval fantasy RPG. That will be good. There's a little cave over here that looks kind of cute. I'm gonna go check it out. Might delete later, IDK. That's a cute little cave. Doesn't that look like a cute little cave, guys? Look at that. This is kind of a gaping hole. Kind of a slutty cave. The terrain chunk's not generated over there yet. I thought I could only get away with generating a small radius of the underground chunks, but it seems I'll need to do a bit larger. Doesn't that look fun? That looks fun. Where does this go? Steampunk horse instead. Yeah, that'll go even better with the medieval fantasy. Yeah. These are great. You should write those down. Probably put it under NDA as well. You don't want anyone to steal those ideas. Oh my god. That was some fun physics. Hello, sir. Nothing to see here. Wait, oh my god. He was too high and missed him. Oh my god, that's like a very small radius. Yeah, I probably need to align that with the ground, actually. It'd make more sense. Okay, back to work, though. Back to work. back to writing some code here. Yeah, we need our giga switch case for the colony tasks, and I'm thinking of like a system right now where I want to do something like let me just spec something out real quick. So I want like colony like task handlers maybe. So I want like some sort of colony, like I guess it would be like a T map of like F task, F what is it, E colonist task type to some sort of class. Like, so there'd be like a task handler module of some sort. We'll just say task handler module. Something that kind of like I can plug and play here. Maybe it's F, maybe it's U, I'm not sure. It'd probably be U. I think make it U. And then each colony that would live on the colony data. Colony entity data. Same with this task handler module, maybe. I think I'll do my own ECS too for my city builder. I'm scared my citizen management might be too much if there's a lot of citizens. Yeah, I mean, the good thing about like mine runs completely on the background thread, and that's another thing that like I found it difficult to do in mass. I guess it's gotten better, but like when I was using it, it was very difficult to force things to not block the game thread. I couldn't figure out, how do you optimize the games? That's a big question, and not one that has a very succinct answer. You're gonna have a lot better luck searching that on YouTube or Google. It's gonna be the answer is gonna be different for every game. Give the people what they want, robot arms. You're very into the sci-fi, it seems, which is not what this game is, not the vibe of this game. But I appreciate that. I want to use mass, but I just want them to visually fill sidewalks. See, that's a good purpose for it, because it's literally built for that. Like, that's all built in, so I think it'll be great for that. And I guess they did, in 5.6, they did add like nav mesh support. When I looked at it, I had to build my own nav mesh mass, you know, processor thing, and it was like a fucking pain in the ass to get the navigation working. But I guess they're adding that now, so. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have this this map. I think the task handler. Maybe I just have a task handler module class. Do I make it a class or an interface? Here's the question. Do I go with the interface? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I go with abstraction here. Yeah, I think I go with abstraction here so that the default, like there's going to be a default one for how to handle these tasks, and then I can overwrite it maybe. But I think I would want to overwrite it on an individual basis. Yeah, I think I would want to overwrite it on an individual basis. And so the task handler module, yeah, would have the task type on it. Well, it's related to a type that we would have. I guess it really just needs one function. One entry point function. Process entity task. That probably it would be this signature, right? I didn't know it would copy and paste that in there. That's funny. What is it? Control Shift V. There we go. Yeah, so we would have this signature. Oh, I called this FF get colonist task data. Oops. Yeah, so it would just process entity task, right? I think that's all we would need. Default. Do I even need to default pass in colony data there? I don't know. And then theoretically, you would know. You would kind of, I guess by nature of how the developer has added it into this map, you would know what task it is. Would I want the ability to like override this based on the task type? Because like, I could pass in task type in here too for what the current task is. But I guess that would allow the developer to kind of make it more confusing on accident. Because like you could have like like an if branch on what, like you could use the same handler module function for 2 different tasks. Do I want that, right? Do I want that? I mean, there could be some tasks that are very closely related. That are like very generic. And just like they have slight differences. So maybe that's nice. Maybe I give myself all the rope to hang myself with. But if I do make it explicit, I guess I'll just need a bunch of static functions to redo some of the functionality. And I guess the difficult part of this for troubleshooting and debugging is that you can't really... The following the code becomes a little bit harder with this approach. It is really... I mean, this is the trade-off with object-oriented programming, right? Like, you make it really nice to pop things in and out. So you make writing the code easier, but it makes reading and following the code a lot harder. And code is read more than it is written, so... It's a careful consideration to make. Fine balancing act. And so what would be the flow for like figuring out like what's you know, reading the code and trying to figure out what went on, what happened during a task, or like I guess we would have this get colonist task. And we would get this, let's put this into code a little bit and we'll see what this looks like. So we have the colony entity data. Just give me the edit anywhere, blueprint read write. I don't think we need save game on it. T map of e colonist, I guess T enum as byte. E colonist task type. And then let's just, I'm going to spec out just like a stupid little U class here. U my class. Oh, great. Banger of a name, but I've got different plans for you. U colonist task handler. U object. And then you're going to have a U function blueprint native event. Yeah, we already went through this. So I can specify these in blueprints as well. And this will be just called like, sure, handle task. Why not? Why not? Yeah, we'll need to forward declare U colony entity data. We'll need to forward declare that. Infation. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Should this be const? No, I think it's fine actually. Is that the actual signature? I don't think that's the actual signature. AI, damn it. No, I'm lost. It'll be this. There you go. F get colonist task data. I think I probably... Is that not here? Hang on, go away. F colonist task data. I'm just gonna forward declare that. Draconin, welcome in. Good morning. Guten Morgen, mein Freund. So yeah, we have that now. So we'll have a T object pointer, which can we even do this? U colony task handler. This will be our task colonist task handlers. There we go. So we have that. And so the flow would be something along the lines of colony data, colonist task handlers. It would need to be an if colony data colonist task handlers dot contain not compact contains colony data current task type. So if we don't, we can probably return failed. Because we can't, colonist can't do this task. Get rid of this now. And we can just grab this bad boy. Give me the juice here. This will be the U colonist. I can't type worth a fucking damn today. And my mic is in the way of my keyboard. I think that's the issue. Handler. So we'll just say handler. Handle task. Just do what you do. Do what you like me. Yeah, that. Get world. Where's my, I call this somewhere, right? Okay. You go there. Perfect. Okay, so that's kind of what that would look like, right? And then everything below here goes away and moves into the handlers. And all these functions probably get extracted into utils files and stuff, I think, maybe, like static functions. So this task actually becomes quite simple. And then this kind of thing, I guess. And then I guess the handle task, I would want to return, because I need a state tree result there. Probably. I think we can include that. What? Gameplay, why do I need to add that? I didn't need to add that before. Oh, is it because I'm using it in a header file? Hang on, do I actually need that? E state tree run status. Include behavior tree BTT task run dynamic state tree. I don't think I need that. What import do we have here? U objects. What do I because like I have that here. So like what's the dealio? Is it in the state tree task base? Probably state tree task base, I presume. Maybe I should actually go to the fucking definition. Base, where are you at? You were just in the state tree module, which if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we do have. So I'm gonna guess that's the import I need here. Maybe writer is, I think writer maybe. Let's just rebuild and see if it breaks. If we need to import that. Writer might be a bit wrong here. Oh yeah, we need to change this too. Hello, please. F colonist task data is not supported by Blueprint. Well, let's change that. Do you play football? I used to. What are you making? Making a video game. Circular dependency detected. Wonderful. Colonist task requires colony entity data, which requires colonist task. Okay. Let's go into colonist task. Colonist task. I think we can forward declare the new colony entity data. And I'll probably need to import that over here. Or is it okay? We'll see. Yeah, I'm working on an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite. I'm coming up with like a little state tree task system for handling different colonist tasks in a very object-oriented programming scalable way here. Any CLI? Not really. Not really. But yes, this is Unreal Engine C++. You will never believe how I created anime eyes for a Blender mesh I'm working on. Does it involve cyborg horses or robot arms like you were talking about? Is that where that was coming from? Because yeah, I wouldn't really believe that if you told me. Then handle task here, and then I guess this colonist task handler. Can you do abstract? I think you can do abstract. Yeah, you can do abstract here. So you can do abstract classes. So yeah, like this is like just the base abstract. This is basically your interface, right? Okay, unresolved external symbol. Okay, the state tree run status does. It is complaining about that. It tis. State tree task base. I don't know, like this is kind of weird that it's like leaking, like it's weird that the colony entity data needs the state tree task base. Like I could just return my own custom status here. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should give it the task rather than the colony data. I don't know, does that make sense? I have a feeling a lot of these would need the colony data anyway, because like what's on here? A lot. Turning cog. You're right, but you are right. Okay, we got a whole block of red here. Still unresolved external symbol on this. I mean, I should definitely put, first of all, let's put, okay, I guess we're just doing this. We're just fucking doing this, okay? Send it. Entity system. I guess let's put this in, should I put it in colony? I mean, it is inherently related to the state tree tasks. I don't know, it feels good to put it in here. You're going to be called Colonist Task Handler. Okay, let's try that again. And then maybe I think I just need I think I need to pass in the task. Hey, you're still grinding at it. Good on you, man. Is it surprising to see that I do this like most days? Because I feel like it's not very. I feel like it shouldn't be. This is how the sausage gets made. You gotta do it every day. But I do appreciate the motivation. Just seems like a lot of people are surprised to see me doing it again. I'm like, well, yeah, I've been doing this for 2.5 years. Don't know anything about game dev, but since I understand coding, the stream is actually starting to make sense, and I'm loving it. Way more than just watching random stuff on YouTube. Oh hell yeah! Yeah, it's not your regular run-of-the-mill TikTok brain rot. You know, YouTube Shorts brain rot. We are actually trying to accomplish things. If we can accomplish things and meme around a little bit, you know, I think that's a good day. That's a good day. Yeah, I think game dev is just like the most fun programming you can do, in my opinion. It's just like the problems that you're solving. It's not like you're like trying to figure out, oh, what's the architecture we should use for this CRUD API, you know? Like, no, that's super boring shit. Relatively speaking. But the problems you solve in game dev are they're just so much fun. They're so much more fun to solve, right? And like building the architecture for like, how am I going to handle colonist tasks, you know? Like that's a lot more interesting to me. And like, you know, just doing a quick little spec out like that. You know, if I had to do this for my job, it would be annoying. But I like doing it here. Make a server-side anti-cheat for these new games, lol. Okay, yeah, let's switch over to doing that. Okay, so what should we do first for the server-side anti-cheat? So we're probably going to need something. No, I'm not doing that right now. I'm not doing that right now. I guess I'm just trying to think about how generic I want this task handler to be. Like, what other systems in my game should it be exposed to? Because right now with this signature, it's being exposed not only to the entity system, which I'm already doing all over the place, so fuck it, we ball, you know? The colony entity data, now I'm exposing it to specific implementation details of a particular colonist or a particular entity data type. Now the state tree I think is where I want to stop it. I don't think I want it to do that. I do think I will need to pass in a task. Task to handle, we'll call it, which is an F colonist task. Now this instance data is what I'm not sure of. Clean this up a little bit here. State tree get colonist task, yeah. Okay, we're cleaned up a little bit. I wanted the get colonist task data, so we're gonna look in there. No, that's not there, and we can get rid of those 4 declarations now. That's in here. Yeah, it's really just, I mean, maybe I don't need to do this, right? Maybe I can just handle this in the colonist task itself. Let's import the handler since I moved it. Yeah, the instance data. Is there any instance data specific thing that I will need? That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. And I guess like for some of these, maybe I can just spin up a little struct and put it on the instance data. That way I don't need to, that struct can be defined here. PCG point container interact with payload. That's really just about, those are the outputs. So in all honesty, I could just like, whether, depending on what the task, which I will need to pass in here, colony data, current task, which maybe that's implied that we're always going to handle the current task within colony data. That's why we're passing colony data. But just in case it's not, I'm picturing a scenario where, you know, for some of these things that I was doing in the past, like getting the desired PCG points, I think I want to maintain those somehow in the colonist's memory. Both in the figurative and literal sense of the term memory. Like I need to maintain that somewhere. I don't know if the colony entity data is the right place. I think on the task makes more sense. Now, does that mean the state tree task, or does that mean the colonist task? Because there's two different tasks here. And like why I would want to maintain like the point, because like a lot of points, it's a procedural world, so they can get spawned fucking anywhere, right? Not literally anywhere, but anything can happen to these points. And like I've already had some situations where I've accidentally spawned them like underground, and the colonists can't really get to them. So I have to maintain like a blacklist of points, you know. And so maintaining this list of like points that we've gotten, you know, checking them for validity, and then like, you know, oh, is this still, you know, maybe they move to the point, and by the time they get there, it's not valid anymore. You know, it's been someone else picked the mushroom or whatever it is. And so would I want to, you know, rerun it? I mean, maybe actually, because then the next point, because I would want to have them sorted, so that would be kind of weird in certain situations. Like imagine if you will, like there's a colonist. Where's green? Here's the colonist. He's right there. We're looking top-down perspective here. So he does a trace here in this radius, and he's looking for mushrooms. You know, there's mushrooms there. You know, so technically his closest one is here. But if he gets here and some other colonist has gotten it, and I maintain this list, the next one in the list would actually be that one, because that was the next closest. But it's not the closest one from here. It would actually be up there. So maybe I should just rerun it. Maybe there's one right there, you know. Maybe there's one right there that didn't get traced the first time. So actually I think I would want to, maybe I would want to redo it. Rerun the query. Now that takes more processing power, but this is all happening on the background thread, so it just kind of happens as it may. Yeah, it actually seems a little more graceful to just rerun it. I mean, I'll do an initial processing on it, I suppose. And I think I already do that. Yeah, I have the is valid point. I mean, it's like, barely any processing, I suppose. And then, yeah, I'll need to just make sure that there are certain points that they don't get stuck trying to move to. Same goes for like buildings and stuff that they're trying to build. Yeah, so maybe we don't do the colonist task data. And let's make a decision on whether or not I am implying that this current task is the one that should always be processed or not. It makes it a little more tightly coupled to the implementation of the colony entity data. But, I mean, all it is an extra parameter, so why not, right? Why not? Task to handle, that needs to be a ref so we can update it. This is going to be void. And then I think what the then signature would be is we handle task. Pass an entity, task to handle, no instance data. And I'll say if colony data current task, because it'll set the task result on here, task status equals failed, return failed. Wow. Else if, I mean, let's just switch case on this. Why not, right? Switch on colony data. Current task dot task. I don't know why my autocompletes aren't working very well today. It's kind of annoying. Oh, that's task type. Status. Failed. turn. There we go. Oh, you can do brackets here? I didn't know that. And I don't need that here anymore. We're not doing that anymore either. That'll be handled from the handlers. Handle it from the handlers. Return running. No, running. Do I want brackets here? I don't know. Can you white space do these? Because I would want to, I think I would want to do some, do I need to change the instance data? I don't think, because that'll get to, if this succeeds or fails, we move on, right? If it succeeds or fails, we move on. And then this needs to happen on tick. Are we doing this? Is this the architecture we want to go with? I think so. I think it's fine actually. We do handler get handle task, and so it'll be on the colony entity data that we have the task handlers, and so that'll just be a list that needs to be built out. And I'm thinking about debugging this. Like, what if I were to debug this? Where would the boo-boos show up at? I guess they would show up in the individual handler, right? Or rather, if I see a task that doesn't work properly, I would need to figure out. I don't have the editor open, so I guess I want to override. I want to update the visual logger entry to show what classes the task handlers are, and I think that'll help me debug. At first, they're probably all going to be the same. I'm probably only going to have one for each task, but in the future, I might have different ones, right? That can pop in and out. This will actually be really good for modding too, as modders can just create their own handlers. Let's do this. Let's do this. Task handlers. You know what? Can I fucking AI this? What's the hotkey for inline chat? What is the hotkey for inline chat? Can I just ask you? This is some good boilerplate. You can write. Why no Vim, dude? Whoever uses Vim to write Unreal Engine is cursed. Alt enter. I want it for Copilot though. Oh, it's there too. Okay. Add a task handlers category that shows task type : task handler class. All right. And we're using 2.5 Pro for this, I guess. Come on, boilerplate. Okay, this is slower than I would like. I feel like it should already be done by now. There we go. What the fuck? That is worse than whatever I got. Can I add it? How do I just add it? Oh, it doesn't add it automatically for you? Wow, that's kind of fucking bad, isn't it? Okay. Oh, and it shows. Wait, hang on. It showed up there too. That's nice. You can highlight some. Okay, you can highlight it. Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, that inline one kind of fucking sucked. Category add. Get name safe. Pair value, get class. Pair value, yeah.
Hello.
Hello? Who is that? Boom!
It's John Cena.
No, it's John Cena! Welcome in.
Why are you running?
Bag up, baby.
Why are you running?
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What the dog doing?
What the dog doing? Welcome in, Boom. Thank you for the raid. I don't know if you've heard my new raid message. I think you, as a fellow agent of chaos, would appreciate it. But welcome in. How was your stream? How are the Unreal Engine noodles treating you today? Oh, I missed it. Is it some kind of plugin? Wait, what? Wait, what? The raid message? No, it's just like a bunch of random memes I play. Welcome in, everyone. We're doing some Unreal Engine game developments. I'm working on an RPG Colony Sim Roguelite with procedural destructible terrain and AI-generated quests. And today I'm working on building out some kind of like base architecture for colony tasks. And, you know, I've kind of in the past had my colonists, they can kind of like run around and chop trees and construct buildings. But then I like wrote my whole ECS system because I want to run the whole world. I want to simulate the whole world, which is a fool's errand, I know, but it's where we're at now. And if you'll give me a few moments, I will show you the procedural terrain and I'll show you the game. I just need to get this fixed, which we have a circular dependency. I did the spaghetti. Ah, good for you. Is it al dente spaghetti, I hope? Nice al dente. Not well done mush spaghetti. So we have the task handler, which includes the colony entity data. Does it? I forward declared it. What do you mean? What do you mean, brother? The colony entity data includes the task handler, which includes the colony entity data, which it doesn't. Okay, if that's what you're mad at, we can just include colonist task handler. Although I don't think that that's going to import correctly, and we need to do over here, which makes sense. Al dente spaghetti, no bugs? Hell yeah. No bugs in my spaghetti. Undefined type. Yeah, it's undefined. Oh, yeah. So we need to strongly import it here. We do need to do that here. That does need to be the case, but I'm already forward declaring it in the other class. What gives? What gives? Class U colony. Yeah, how else can I do this? How else should I be doing this? Okay, colony entity data includes the colonist task handler. Yes, it does. Colonist task handler includes colony entity data. It doesn't, though. It's forward declaring that. Okay, get rid of it all. I might need to, let's do a clean, actually. I think that might be clean. Let's see. So yeah, the kind of game I'm going for is like I said, RPG Colony Sim Roguelite, but for the RPG side of things, I'm hoping for something similar to... Dude, are you already? I just cleaned you, and you're already upset at me. Okay, well, I was going to go on a whole spiel while this built, but... why are you... I don't understand why you're cyclically dependent. You are an abstract class that does very little. Okay, let's just delete all of the forward declares. So now it's going to get mad at something else. No, wait, what? Rebuild. Why does it feel like Ryder's using like an old copy of the code? Okay, hang on. Let's comment out the code that required the import to begin with. I feel like Ryder's just playing pranks on me. Okay, now we're full rebuilding. Okay. So yeah, I want to do a game that has like vanilla WoW RPG aspects, not an MMO by any means, but just like, you know, several classes to pick from that all have distinct abilities. They have, you know, deep talent trees, lots of abilities to pick from. It will be like kind of tab target, although I'm hoping it'll be a bit more interactive than that. But definitely combat will be closer to something like farther away from like a Dark Souls type combat, you know, like a collision-based combat. More so something where there's a lot of strategic execution rather than just focusing on purely mechanical execution, which was what I feel like Souls combat is. I understand there is some strategic execution there, but I want there to be a good mix of both strategic and mechanical execution in combat. Like I need you to make I want to make decisions during combat that impact the result of the combat. I don't just want it to be solely reliant on pressing the button at the right time. And it's gradient scale, but somewhere in the middle, I would hope. And then I want to pair that with a colony sim. And one of my big inspirations for that is my favorite game of all time, which is RimWorld. Love that game. Very depthy colony sim where a lot of random stuff happens. You know, you build up a base, your colonists have moods and needs, and they have different traits and different skills. Some people are good crafters, some are good, you know, planters, some are good construction workers, you know, some are just good at combat, you know. And they have different like little moods and personalities, and they interact with each other, and your base can get raided, so you build defenses for it, and you just try to scale your base, and there's like a tech tree with progression and stuff like that. So I've always wanted to play a game like RimWorld, but also be down in the game with the colonists. Like I want to be alongside them, kind of leading them, you know. So that's what I'm hoping to pair together, along with some roguelite aspects. Now, what are we doing here? Oh, I need an implementation. That makes sense. Maybe that's why it was complaining so much. I literally just ranted about this the other day. Okay, we've built. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'll show you guys the procedural terrain here, which is probably the thing that I've spent the most time on. So it's like the best looking part of the game, and I just have all placeholder assets for now. We'll see if we can get a cool seed going here. Should I pick one? Should I pick one that's automatically cool? I don't know. Or we'll just search for a random one. Let's go for a random seed. We'll see how it goes. The 360, seed 361. Oh, bad seed. Oh, it's a cursed seed. It's all flat. This is my ocean biome. I haven't done anything with it, so it's just entirely flat. Yeah, there are different biomes in the like specced out and stuff. Another ocean one. At least you can see some 3D noise there. Let's try 363. I need to fix that issue because the character just spawns in the middle of the ocean for the 3rd time in a row. It's cursed. It's cursed. 364. Come on. Big money. Oh my god, 4 in a row. That's actually kind of crazy. Oh, there's a little bit over there. But yeah, I need to, like, I already check, like, I was like, hey, rerun the generation if 00 is an ocean. And I do that up to 20 times, and it happens all the time. It happens all the time still. So I really just need to, like, move the, there we go. There's an actual biome here. Wait, where are my mountains at? What? Where are my mountains at? I'm supposed to have mountains on the borders here. Am I crazy? Oh, we are on the edge. Okay, so maybe that's why. But there's one seed. Here's the world map. Black is ocean here. The different colors represent different biomes, and like the different zones have like names to them. They should be like distinct. Like this is called Sunblessed Fields. We have the Centaur Plains of Freedom, the Plain of Earth, Phantom Spire, Shade Warden Basin, the Inner Plains. And so each of these I intend to like kind of tell a story in, and they're all AI generated names. And I have like an AI generated, a proof of concepted AI generated quest system. I need to add caves. Boom. How about that? How about them apples? I already have that done. I already have caves. Does that blow your mind, Killer Panda? You didn't expect me to already have them done, did you? Yeah, there are caves. I will have ore and stuff spawn down here. Eventually. There's not really anything interesting down here at the moment. New seed. because that one was kind of weird. Also, where are my mountains at? Why did those disappear? Here's my meadows biome. One of two biomes. Okay, I do have the mountains still. Okay, I don't know what was going on with that other seed. This is kind of a boring seed. So yeah, this is my meadows biome. So just very wide open. We got some sunflowers here. There will be like a gathering skill that you need to grab those trees. A few big rocks here and there. We still have some caves that you'll maybe not want to fall in. I want to find a good one for you guys because there's some really cool looking ones. These are all kind of boring. Oh my goodness, another ocean seed. Bad seed. 369. Nice. Another ocean seed, dude. What are the chances? What are the chances? I mean, there's a little bit of noise there. 370. Fun boy, hello, welcome in. There we go. There's a little bit. It's still a boring seed. It's all my flat noise, which happens to be my default noise, so it's used a lot. Definitely some more work to do therein. Okay, here's something at least a little. There we go. There we go. There's a good seed. Okay, see, this is a better seed. I've got 3 different sets of noise all next to each other. Now, this is what I hope to achieve on a more consistent scale. I have sets of parameterized noise that get generated for each biome, like that I showed on the map there. And so this was like my really high altitude noise. That has a really high altitude curve because each pixel on this map is a terrain chunk. And you can see how it's really bright here in the center. If you look up here, you can see the altitude data. And so the altitude is 1 here, which is the highest, and then lowest is the ocean. And each set of parameterized noise is it has like an altitude curve that gets applied to it. And some different sets of noise get affected by altitude a lot more than others, as you can see. I am in the shadow of a giant mountain. I'm looking at the slumbering... The zone name is just called Slumbering Dragon. If only there were stairs. I do have stairs as well. I do have stairs. They don't go very high at the moment. I have dynamic tree chopping as well. So these are static meshes that get deformed at runtime depending on where the axe hits them. And then they will, if my shitty axe swing animation actually connects with them, they will fall over. And then I get some wood in my inventory. Yeah. No one reads stream names. Stream titles. So we have that. So there'll be some survival light-ish mechanics. This is my craggy, rocky noise. And like I said, I only have like 2 biomes right now, so these are all the same assets, but there's some really nice caves that with lighting that doesn't make sense. But that's okay. And then let me find a colonist. There we go. Okay, AI generated quest time. So I like dump my entire item database and all my classes that are spawnable in the game to a Gemini prompt. Like I send it off in the API. Who are you? Okay, you don't have a name. Let me find someone that actually has a generated name. There we go. Griff Oakwood. Okay. So I pass like this character's information. Griff Oakwood is a 120-year-old male elf druid who is cruel and reckless. In his childhood, Griff was raised by wild druids deep in the forest, far from civilization. In his adulthood, this upbringing made him fiercely protective of nature, ruthless towards those who dare harm it. His methods are often dangerous and unpredictable. So we'll see what kind of quest that generates. Okay, so let's talk to him. Okay. You call yourself a shaman, Stonebridge? Oh, I guess I'm a shaman. My name is Jail Stonebridge here. I'm a shaman. You call yourself a shaman, Stonebridge? Do you hear the whispers of the land, or are you deafened by the clatter of your own ambition? There's a sickness, a wound festering in the heart of the whispering woods, and it's spreading. The old growth, the ancient sycamores, their weeping sap that tastes of ash and sorrow. The sprites that dance in their branches are fading, their laughter muted. I tried to mend the damage, but the rot, it runs deeper than any root. I need you, shaman. I need someone who can walk between worlds, who can speak to the spirits that are being choked by this blight. You will go to the Whispering Woods and discover the source of this corruption, bring me answers and perhaps salvation for this forest. And so my quest panel is over here. This quest is called Whisper Winds Woe. Griff Oakwood has asked me to investigate the corruption in the Whispering Woods and discover its source, so I must go and examine the weeping sycamores, search for the fading sprites, and follow any trails of corruption that I find so I can report back to him. And then I have a list of objectives here that can be completed. Now, this is all just proof of concepted, so I can't actually complete these. But it's cool nonetheless. I'm not gonna be able to hire voice actors. What did I just say? Tell me more about the Whispering Woods and this corruption. The Whispering Woods were once a place of vibrant life where the ancient sycamores whispered secrets to the wind. But now, the trees weep a bitter sap and the sprites once found... basically the same thing he already said. What do you suspect is the cause of this blight? I cannot say for certain, but I feel the touch of dark magic, of twisted ambition. Perhaps a necromancer seeks to desecrate the land, or a greedy merchant tries to exploit its resources without care for the consequences. We must find the source to know the truth. They'll either be unvoiced or maybe we'll do some AI text-to-speech. Pretty far from there. But that's an example of some AI-generated quests. And then, like I said, the zones are kind of AI-generated names. I'm in Xanadu Gardens. Deeproot Forest is over here. The Haunted Lighthouse. You know, these don't really make sense because they're just kind of purely random. Eventually, I'll pass in all of the stuff that's like kind of spawned in here. I'm going to do like procedural points of interest as well. No points of interest yet, but I'll pass in like information about the zone. Like this is a forest zone with really craggy rock terrain, noise, and you know it's got some caves, and I'll give it information about what monsters can be found there, you know, what points of interest are there, and so then the quests will be grounded in the game a lot more, right? Still a lot of work to do there, but we're working on colony tasks today. That was a cute little cave right here. Look at that cave. So yeah, shout out to Boom for the raid. Hope you all enjoyed her stream. You did say the noodles were good to her, so maybe some of that will rub off on me. Although I'm not doing too much. I don't know how much noodling I'll be doing today. We're doing some C++. Apparently I don't need to import anything here, which is nice. So I'm just gonna ignore those, as we built anyway. And I built out this little colonist task handler. So maybe this will have some noodle stuff. Strong prints, yeah. Patent pending. So yeah, I want to like convert all this into like the new way of doing things. And then on tick, I think we handle this on tick actually. So let me make a function for it. Let's just call it like process task or something. And I guess it'll have an e-state tree run status return. Let's call it just process task. Give it the context, of course. Where's my cursor at? Come back to me. Will need to be const. And let me copy pasta here a little bit. I think we copy everything, and then I just do return process task context, state tree context, and then this all goes here. I would want all of this to happen on tick as well. So on tick, we're just going to return process task. Yes, perfect. Yeah, I need to start working all of this back over. We can delete this part. Maybe I can't delete all of it. I can delete that much at least. And yeah, I need to, I guess maybe I should just comment this out for now so it at least builds. Well, I guess this did build. This did build, it's just dead code. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. So I guess I need to build out these task handlers now. So should I make a folder for these? I kind of think I should make a folder for these. Let's not do that though. Colonist task. Should I call it colony task handler? That's actually shorter. Although it's for a specific colonist, so I think that's actually a bit more descriptive. Let's just call this default construct handler. That's what we're using as our guinea pig. Okay, so let's implement that one function. Yeah, so we do override the implementation version. Okay. So yeah, there's no base implementation. So this is where we'll need to copy over our stuff from here. Is valid construct task? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Calling data current target act. Okay, perfect. Perfect. There we go. And this is actually a very nice way to decouple the imports as well. Like, because we'll need to, you know, I'm strongly including Colony entity data. Why are you mad? I think I just need to, I think I just need to import, I guess. Colony entity data. Yeah, I guess I was just mad at. By the way, when you add creatures, are you going to add a spot they will stay and spawn at, and add 1 to 5 random creature leaving spawn area to invade a town or farm area, and that will trigger a quest from colonists as an extermination mission? Yeah, I mean, something like that is completely on the table. Right now, I just have, like, everything spawns in a random spot and wanders in a small radius around there, but yeah, I do want some more sophisticated spawning, and, like, raids, like, randomly generated raids will happen. And that can be, you know, maybe that can be from, you know, a set of wolves. Maybe that can be from another colony, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, AI generated quests, you know, something like that could be very easy for an AI to generate. Okay, but if we have no building, the task to handle, well, rather, I guess I should do some, like, if task to handle dot task type not equal to construction, this handler called the wrong handler, basically. Do I do an entity system log for that? I don't know. I definitely will probably want the entity subsystem so I can log things. Might as well, right? If we're okay, yeah, let's vlog entity error. Invalid task type. Import that. Why did you choose to stream in portrait format and not landscape? Are your viewers mostly mobile users? I have horizontal as well. I have 3 streams actually right now. I have a YouTube horizontal, a YouTube vertical, and a Twitch horizontal. When you vertical stream to YouTube,
first of all, you have to specifically set up a vertical stream, setup, which is kind of a pain in the ass. And then, yeah, you need some sort of mouse tracking software like I have or something. But it'll put you into YouTube Shorts feed, which, my coworker at YouTube suggested to me, and he wasn't wrong. It was a good suggestion. So yeah, it's just exposure, I guess, really. Just getting people in, hanging out. Task to handle, task to handle dot status. We'll call it failed here. Default construct handler failed. Invalid building actor. Exposure best currency. Yeah, tell that to the starving artist. And this will be like failed building already built. Now, when he completes it, is going to be a different thing. Hasty Wasty, welcome in. Nice work. Only a matter of time until you have great success. I appreciate that. Thank you for your confidence in me. Asking Stain's current games have these types of missions, but it just skips the point where you can see a creature spawn as a pup, watch it grow up, then seeing it actually leaving its animal. Yeah, why would you want to see that whole process? Why would you want to see that process in a video game? It just skips the point where you can see a creature spawn in as a pup, watch it grow up, and seeing it actually leaving its animal habitat for food. The entire process. Many games have the missions, but they just give you mission, tell you to go to mission, and then spawns in the creature. Like, I hear what you're saying, and that you want a more realistic simulation of the environment around you, but I don't think that one equates to more fun. It can be interesting. And two, I don't think you need to do the full thing like that to get a sense of realistic environment, right? And 99% of people are not going to, like, what's going to happen 99% of the time is that players are going to go and kill wolves. And the wolf will never get a chance to grow up, right? It doesn't just stick around, right? If you do a system where you have animals in the environment, they need to be killable. And you're not going to come across the same animal over and over again. And I think if you're looking for that in a game, that's probably more something akin to a hunting game, right? I want to see and know when it leaves the habitat and stop it then, which can stop the mission, but you get the pelts, I think you mean, and perhaps bonus reward for hindering an upcoming event. But like in an open world RPG game, how would you see that? Like, you just don't, like, maybe in a top-down perspective game, for omniscient perspective game, that could be something. But like in an RPG game, I don't think you can pull that off in a, like, that experience you're looking for. I don't think is a consistent experience that you can pull off very easily without that being the main point of the game. Which is why I said like a hunting game or something. And like you can simulate that effect of like, oh, there's a lot of wolves here and they're getting out of control. I should stop them before that turns into a before they, turn into a problem. And you don't need to see the whole life cycle of the wolf, right? I didn't think about that. I guess I like the Witcher's games where you can watch an event happen and unfold. I mean, even Witcher didn't even have things like that. Like, I agree that the Witcher quests were high quality and in depth, and they're great. But all those quests, like, there's no simulation to those, really. Like, they're all based on player actions. They're not, it's not a sandbox simulation. It's all... It's built for the player and specifically in response to specific player actions. Like, it's not like, those events don't happen organically, is what I'm trying to say. And like in a game like Witcher, those are all like handcrafted events that happen and they probably have they probably have an entire wall filled with sticky notes, like a big quest web. If you do this, do that, that kind of thing. The persistent save text file would be chunk if we're talking development involvement. Maybe, yeah. I'm too dreaming, I guess. I just don't think you need to do what you're saying to get what you want. I think you can do something easier. Animal life cycle sim, you end up with more jank closer to Ark or Conan. Does Ark and Conan do that? Do they do? I mean, like, I will have animals in the world and stuff that run around, and, you know, maybe I'll have them, like, eat stuff or something, you know? Maybe I'll have, like, but I think you can just, like, I don't think you need to simulate every animal and their life cycle, you know? I think you can just do a more overall simulation where you can just check the number of animals in an area and see if, do they have enough food? Okay, then they'll stay within that area, you know? Do they not have enough food? Okay, maybe roll some dice and see if they attack the nearest colony for food, you know? Like, I think you can just do things that are a lot easier to get what you want. But yeah, so I need to figure out how I want success to be defined here. Like, when does success happen for this task? Yeah, I know. I knew you'd like that. Yeah. I knew you'd like that. Yeah, because I don't know if this building is built. I don't know who built it, if this colonist built it or not. And I guess I should set the task to finished first. I should check that, yeah. If task to handle, task status. Procedural generated towns? Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. If it's equal to finished. If it's equal to finished, that's when I think we can return. It won't be an error. Task finished. When we return, we don't need to do the rest of it because something already marked it as finished. Now, I think that would probably happen in the interact with object. And then I should have, do I have the, I don't have the colonist task here, so I actually don't really know. Okay, so I need to figure that out then. I think interact with object would be the place where I want to do that, though. I need like a callback or something too. I need something to interact with that. I don't know if I just want to add, like, I could just add the colonist task to the interact with object. I don't know if I want to do that though. So if your procedural generated towns don't do a Minecraft where things get molded into mountains, houses stand on 100 rock pillars or buried in the ground, yeah. Or at least if they do, I want them to like respond to that situation, you know? Like, I at least want them to be aware that they're on the edge of a mountain, you know what I mean? And that's why I kind of wanted to do my procedural generation a bit backwards from how something like Valheim or Minecraft do it. Like, I think the POIs get spawned first, or get generated first, and then the procedural terrain fills in the gaps, right? Response is in, if buried, it's old and fallen. Response is in, it makes sense in some way, and the colonists that may or may not live there understand the state of what they're in, right? Like, yeah, if it's buried, you know, something happened to bury it, and they have that context, you know? Something like, if I do stuff like that. But I do have an idea for, like, I guess Minecraft called them like terrain carvers, but I do have some ideas for how I'm going to have like procedurally spawned points of interest, maybe even procedurally spawned points of interest that are landscape features themselves. but kind of merge those into the world. I have some ideas. There are a couple neat medieval city gin, but I've only seen them used in 2D maps. But if you did something similar and had a height noise with weighted centers, it might look natural. Oh, don't you worry, Turning Cock. Like I said, I've got ideas. I've got ideas. I enjoyed Minecraft a lot, finding these villages. Dude, they're all over the place now. I feel like it was more fun when they were more rare. Because now there's like different types of villages too. But it's like there's a village in every fucking biome and shit, you know? Whereas like when the villages first came out, there was one type of village and it was rare. And when you found one, you're like, oh fuck, like everyone get over here, you know? It was like, I don't know, I found it a lot more fun when there is too many games are afraid of negative space. And I hate that. Not negative as in like bad for the player, negative as in like you need some things that aren't interesting to make the interesting things interesting, you know? But I digress. Yeah, I need some way to finish these colony tasks. Negative space as an empty, kind of. Just things that don't have a purpose. You know what I mean? That just they just exist there to be background, you know? Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to know exactly what I was talking about, Adder. I like to call them traversal spaces. Yeah, that's one purpose for them. But it's really just something that like you can't have, and I think this is where WoW went wrong, because their whole development methodology was like, make it all epic, make everything epic. If it can be epic, make it more epic, you know? And when you look at retail WoW versus vanilla WoW, like vanilla WoW was so fucking humble, and you had that really nice growth as a player. And it was because of negative space or another, like, and that doesn't just mean like physical space to me. It also means like negative space in game design. Like there is downtime. There is time where you're not doing anything. There is time where you're just traveling. There are pieces of gear that are useless, that are terrible, right? But you need the terrible gear so that choosing the not terrible gear is actually meaningful and impactful, right? Like there are some items in vanilla WoW. There's like cloth boots that have strength on them. No one would fucking use that. It's like strength and spirit or something. No one would use those, but it's a quest reward from like Dustwallow Marsh or something. And you get it from an ogre and it's like, you know, Mosh Ogg's, you know, dirty fucking boots or something, you know? They just exist there to make the other shit good, you know? And you need that. If everything's epic and awesome and looks sick, whenever you get something that's epic, awesome, and fucking sick, it's just normal now. You know, it's the kind of like TikTok brain rot amusement park game. You played No Man's Sky? No, but I've watched a lot of talks by Sean Murray, the guy who made it, and I've seen the game and watched streams and stuff. It's on my wish list. I've never played it though. They really tried filling empty spaces with a lot of stuff, but things became repeated. Yeah, I think planet-sized procedural generation doesn't really make sense for a video game, in my opinion. I think No Man's Sky has the best incarnation of what procedural generation can be. But I think when you try to fill a space that is as large as a planet, like your options are either you make the whole planet interesting, but then why would the player ever go off the planet if there's interesting things to continue exploring, you know? So the point, if you're making procedural planets, probably the point of the game is to have space travel in it. So you probably want them space traveling. So you probably have to make the planets somewhat repetitive, right? So that they go to other planets. But then at that point, it's like, why do I have a whole planet, right? Why is a whole planet being generated? And yeah, I think No Man's Sky has made a great game out of it. But that's probably that's why I think Starfield was shitty. They just didn't have the quality and the game loop of No Man's Sky to make it make sense. That's why I don't think doing a procedural planet, like, it's not worth it. And there's only really specific game, we'll say core, what did we call it yesterday? Core mechanics. There's a very specific set of core game mechanics that you have to use to make that worth it. And it's a pretty niche, I would say, pretty niche. Or when all item drops are legendaries. Yeah, exactly. Legendaries should be like, there's 2 guys on the server who have it. You know what I mean? Their planets eventually became repeated patterns and repeated planet life, biomes, animal life. Yeah, I mean, you have to. Or it's like either the player stays there forever or they get bored and go to a new planet. You know, like... Looking forward to Hello Games' new... Oh, they're making an ARPG. I haven't heard of that. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what an ARPG they make looks like, because they're procedural generation chops. I'm pretty sure the guy who made the Fast Noise plugin works at No Man's Sky. I feel like I saw that. And so I think No Man's Sky uses Fast Noise. I'm excited for their one planet game to see how they jam the biomes together. What programming language? This is C++. But yeah, there's a very nice procedural generation talk by Sean Murray, and then someone else that worked at the company did like how the systems all fit together, and they talk about how they have to do like this triplanar mapping to like wrap it around the planet, and how they handle like the seams and how they handle the voxels that don't, because like their game is like voxelized. But if you do a triplanar mapping on a sphere, like there are going to be voxels that are not the right size. They're either squished or stretched on the seams. They talk about how they handle that. It's pretty interesting. When legendary becomes mildly rare, something is imbalanced. Yeah, it's not legendary at that point. It's just a name that is meaningless. That's why like Diablo 4 is like, you know, Diablo 4 is the like legendaries are just like fucking like pieces of candy out of a piñata. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And I also hate how, like, the gear isn't... the gear is ephemeral in Diablo 4. It's not a thing. Because, like, it's all about the enchants that are on the gear. And you can re-roll those enchants and shit, and you can apply them yourself. And so you went from a system where it's like you'd get some legendary piece of gear that has this, like, build changing effect on it, which is really fucking cool. And like when I was first playing Diablo 4 and I got one of those, felt amazing. Second time I got one of those, still felt amazing. You know, third time I got one, okay, this one isn't as good as my other ones, but that's really cool. That could be really good for another build. I'll put that in the bank. Still felt good. In game, every single piece of gear you have is a legendary item. You only use the gear that has the enchants for your build. And so the game became look at gear, it became so difficult to discern whether a piece of gear was worth applying the enchant on or whatever. And it's just, I don't think you should tightly couple enchants on gear. Like if a player gets a piece of gear, I think they should very, very quickly be able to tell, is this better than what I have right now? And it shouldn't be like, okay, well, I need to get it enchanted or upgraded. You know, some games do upgrades on pieces of gear where it's like, you know, there's 5 different levels for a piece of gear. And it's like, okay, well, I have a level 5 piece of gear and I'm looking at a level 1 piece of gear. It's like, how do I tell? Should I spend time? Should I invest time in this one? It becomes very abstract and obscure. And I don't know how I got there. Oh, we're talking about legendaries, but yeah. The Halo team is having a bad time after the restructure. You got some inside information? As long as the pistol's strong and the jump is good, I think players will have a good time wherever they take Halo. I think there's too many. There's too many Halos, actually. It's like, you know, how is the jump and pistol better in Halo Infinite versus Halo 3 or Halo Reach or whatever, you know? Kind of difficult to iterate on that genre. It's a very mature genre. The arena shooter, arena FPS. And the innovation that's happened on that is like the hero abilities type shooter, you know, your Overwatch, your Valorant type things. So many games use the color coding of WoW. They did that to give people the dopamine hit they used to get them finally getting an epic legendary in WoW. Yeah, but when you get an orange item every 5 seconds, it means nothing. Yeah, Yeah, and then there's just all the chaff that all the blues and yellows or whatever, or the blues and purples, and it's just like, it's blue. I'm not even gonna pick it up. You know what I mean? It's like when it gets to that point, it's just like, what are we doing here? What's the point? You know, there's so much extra shit. There's so much, like, you can make a game that is a filet mignon, and I see something like Valheim as a filet mignon of games. There's no fat on that game. Everything in that game has a purpose, and it all fits together very nice and tight. And you have this really tender experience that's very flavorful, melts in your mouth. Now, you can have a game that's a ribeye, a nice, well-marbled ribeye, where there's little bits of fat that don't really have, you know, that doesn't have a point in the game, but it adds flavor, right? That's a vibe you can go for. No one wants a steak that is just fucking strips of fat all over it, you know? No one eats the strip of fat on a New York strip, right? And that all that shit that drops that you never actually pick up, that is meaningless to you, that is the fat that no one wants, right? And you should avoid that. But yeah, the color coding is something that's very very nostalgic. That's bacon. Yeah, but bacon is like cooked specifically, you know? It's not a piece of steak. Bacon would be like a nice little arcade game. You just have to know what kind of fat your game has and what kind of appetite the players have for that fat and if it fits and stuff. I'm sure I can come up with an analogy for every piece of steak. I'm sure I could. I don't know if it's worth it though. Okay, I want to figure out how to get this colonist task actually completed here. The easy part would be to just pass it in, you know, to just pass it in. Although maybe I could like, maybe do it. Should I just have a specific task for that to make it to keep it modular? And so if this succeeds, go to a task that just completes the colonist task. I don't know, it seems like heavy-handed from a state tree processing perspective because the processor would need to trigger that transition and stuff. But it does keep the interact with object task modular and not coupled. But like, the way I'm thinking about it is just you can add the colonist task here. And then just like, if it's there, you know, if the colonist task is here, we complete it, you know? Which would be a lot more efficient from just like a processing perspective. I mean, maybe we should just do that. Because we get colonist task. The output, I don't actually output the colony data. There you go, Japanese love the MTX fat, just like they like their marbled Wagyu, yeah. There you go. Yeah, I think let's just pass in the F colonist task. Can I forward declare this? I don't know if I can forward declare this. We'll see. No, we can't. Okay. See, I don't like that import. It feels weird. Feels weird. Oh, and this needs to be like a ref, doesn't it? It needs to be a state tree property ref. Property ref. Okay. For T state tree property. Yeah, I like these ones better. These ones are easier to set up. F colonist task. Category. Forget what the category are for this. Where do I use this? Category equals out. Okay. What are you building? A video game. RPG Colony Sim Roguelite game. So instance data colonist task, get mutable pointer. Colonist task. What do we need to pass in here? Oh, just the. Why did I think colonist task was the answer? Context. Oh, I can't do that. I can't store context across threads. Okay, or across. Yeah, we got to do something like this. Get it from outside. Once we do. Well, really, no. We need to do this out here. Hang on. Interact with object. We interact the return status. Yeah, and then we process that here. So yeah, here's where we need to do it. And I think we can get rid of these. I don't think we need those anymore. If colonist task, this is return status running, so actually not here. Oh, this is if return status equals running. This should be not equal to running. Task status equals something like this. It is C++, yes. Gotta go grind some rails on the mountain. Oh, hell yeah. Are you going snowboarding? It sounds fun. I think I just put this in a if statement. I think that's a bit more. Task failed. Okay. And so maybe we just let the colonist task handle that. Handle the return. Maybe. We'll see. I think it should work either way for now. But I think I have to get on up out of here. No brain rot stream. C++ game dev. All right, I'm gonna send you guys over to Zed Shaw. I've seen him before. He seems like a nice guy. Seems like he knows what he's fucking doing here. Oh my god, the editor colors are such high contrast. Okay, yeah, I gotta get going today. But thanks everyone for hanging out. Good to see you all. I hope to see you all again sometime soon.
Map a lot easier to work with.
So yeah, thanks everyone. Goodbye. Boom, you're still in here. Thank you for the raid. Goodbye. Oh god, my voice just cracked so bad right there. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here before that happens again. Bye guys.